Nothing
yeah,
crazy?
This one again, where we have the tornado warning, it is super broad, but head back to radar top, go back up to that warning. Right north of Berryville, we have a really tight little velocity couplet, which looks a little bit more like what we saw earlier this morning and afternoon.
Which one are you looking at?
The
Way
one
up?
back up into Frederick.
Up into Frederick, okay.
Yeah, it's super tight. It looks relatively weak, but it looks like there could be a little bit of a spin up within that severe thunderstorm warning.
Okay, let's just see here. Hang on a second. Yeah, because there's a warning on that, correct?
There's a severe thunderstorm warning, that's right.
Okay, so there's Charlestown, there's Brunswick. We're going to keep going north here a little bit. And, okay, so there we go. There's Berryville.
It's just north of Berryville, just seeing the tiniest little velocity couplet just in the north there where you see that little radar outage, that little blob of green.
Yep, okay. Well, let's go ahead and track this and see, because this is at the very least a severe storm. And, winds certainly could be 60 miles per hour with this, no doubt. So we'll track this off to the east, northeast. We'll bring it up into, we'll bring it up toward Frederick. We'll bring it up right toward Frederick. Boom, right there. So Charlestown, about 808, and Lovettsville, also on the storm tracker, 822, and maybe all the way to Jefferson as we get into 833, and Myersville, 837. And I think this will hold together. At one time, this line did look a little scarier, like a solid line, but now it's broken up just a little bit. But still, if you're in this area, you also need to move away from windows. If you're on the second story, get down to the first floor in case a tree falls. And there are some pretty heavily wooded areas and neighborhoods in that particular area. Let me go back to the kind of reset things for just a second, and we'll kind of widen back out. So we are looking at essentially, there's a new warning. There's the severe thunderstorm warning there. There's a tornado warning there. And again, we're looking at the potential for at least damaging winds. I mean, no doubt about damaging winds up towards Shepherdstown and towards Frederick. But this is, one thing that's bothering me about this too, Caitlin, is that it's kind of training a little bit, and now we could see some flooding.
Yeah, absolutely.
With this storm. So let's kind of get it in a little tighter, if you will, and we'll look at the whole. I'm going to take you all the way into most of Charles County here, because I think this is an area that we have to really watch, whether it's for tornadoes or if it's just simply for severe thunderstorms. So there's Pope's Creek, and there's Faulkner. You got some pretty big winds there. This more than likely is hail. Dahlgrens are having some tremendous rains right now, and also some pretty good lightning. So Newport, you're in the path of this storm. Again, it may turn a little more to the east. Sometimes they do right turners, and they don't always move off directly to the northeast. Sometimes they will turn. They'll turn just a little bit. So keep that in mind. We'll zoom back out, and right now the DC Metro is okay, but you're kind of sandwiched in between a big storm to your south and then this line of storms. And I will say Futurecast was weakening this line earlier. And so we'll see as it moves to the east, if it weakens as it gets into Loudoun County and also into Fairfax County. But this area here, see this little line, see how it's extended almost from Charles County back to Charlottesville? That's a little troubling just because of possibility of flooding, okay? And also, yeah, troubling because we have a tornado warning in effect as well. But still, we're looking at the potential for damaging winds no matter what warning you're under right now, okay? I mean, it's pretty much across the board. I'm going to zoom into here. Now, here's the thing. So let's say you are in Dunkirk, Upper Marlboro. You're not under a warning right now. But if you look off to the south and the west, there's a ton of warnings. So now's the time in Upper Marlboro and Bowie and Prince Frederick to maybe you're outside, having a little adult beverage, put the umbrella down, bring in small chairs, small objects, or at least secure them, because this storm is headed your way. And it could be tornadic, and it could be just severe. Either way, the winds could, be 60 miles per hour. So that's something that we have to also watch. I'm going to try to track this a little bit. And in terms of, yes. So we're going to track this off to the east. We're not going to track it that well, are we? Let's try that. Let's try it again. So if you're in Dunkirk and Prince Frederick, again, you're not under the warning right now, but you are in the path of a severe storm, no doubt about that. So the severe storm goes right through just to the west of Mechanicsville, and then it's going to be pushing off to the east as we go through, say, the next 30 minutes or so over toward Baptist Church. in that area. So this is still a severe storm. Yes, this is still a warning down toward King George until 8:15, and this is a severe thunderstorm warning until 8:30. I guess the best news, again, is they didn't extend this tornado warning and move it north. That's the best news we have. The bad news we have is that this storm is not moving much. It's back building a little bit, and it's going to have some the possibility of some flooding with this storm. And as Caitlin mentioned earlier, this is still a pretty hefty storm pushing out of Winchester around Berryville, headed toward Frederick. We can maybe just a little bit, but this is what's troubling me. Look at that. That's a line of severe weather, essentially from Charles County back to Charlottesville. And we still have the tornado warning in effect for King George until 8:15. But the good news is this is just a severe thunderstorm warning ahead of it. I think that's good news. We're trying to, point out some good news, and I think that's pretty good news. We'll zoom back in here, and I'll kind of zoom in right there. So this is where the warning is. If you're anywhere near Dahlgren, kind of in between Dahlgren or Faulkner, and Pope's Creek, you should have taken cover already. If you're back toward Nanjemoy, the heavier rain is now over with. And Fairview Beach, the heavy rain is tapering off, and your threat of severe weather is also tapering off. You're not technically under the tornado warning. Riverside, you technically are. You should be taking cover. No doubt about that. You should definitely be taking cover by now in Riverside. And really much of Charles County, you should take cover because, again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning for almost the entire county. And you folks in southern Prince George's County, you should get ready. And Calvert County, you should get ready. As this begins to move off to the north and the east, we'll see if it turns more eastward as we go through the next couple of hours. But still, we're looking at severe weather. And we still have this severe thunderstorm warning, too, out near Winchester and Berryville. But look at the warnings. Again, those are the yellow boxes. The red is the tornado warning, all the way back to Charlottesville. That's pretty impressive, I got to say. I mean, and it's kind of, it's worrisome, not so much, well, it's worrisome because there's severe storms, also worrisome just because of the potential for flooding. That's kind of what we're also concerned about here. I'll bring this in now a little bit. So there's the storm. Dahlgren, you're getting out of the worst part of the storm. It's headed over 301 toward La Plata. Mechanicsville, get ready. Prince Frederick, get ready. Leonardtown, you might get ready too. Again, sometimes these storms turn more to the right, and when they do that, we call them right turners. So they start going northeast, and then they turn off to the east. And when they do that, that's something that you may not expect because you may not be in the path of this. You think, well, I'm safe, I'm okay, but if it turns off to the east and then south, Leonardtown, then you're in the path of the storm. Okay, so even though you're not in the warning, you're still under a severe thunderstorm watch, and sometimes these storms will turn off to the east, southeast, and stop moving off to the north and the east. So now we've still got the tornado warning there across. Oh, they've trimmed it back, which makes sense, but it still goes to 8:15 and through King George, and then this is still going on until 8:30. Is the severe thunderstorm warning. This is a pretty big storm. It extends back to Fredericksburg, and this is the same storm that may have put a tornado down in Spotsylvania County into the courthouse. And there was a severe thunderstorm warning and also a tornado warning in Ladysmith earlier, and I think that is the same storm and responsible for the same warning. It looks like it is to me. Anything in terms of velocity?
No, I would just encourage folks that if you're in Charles County, especially southeastern Charles County, to treat it like it is a tornado warning because there is still a pretty decent couplet there. It's a little bit tighter than it was earlier. Still not super organized, still not that tornadic signature that we typically look for in a tornado warning, but it's producing some big wind at a minimum. So if you're in really just say eastern Charles County, treat it like it is a tornado warning. This is not a storm where you want to be outside. You want to seek shelter, small interior room away from windows. Again, you can see really right along 301 is where I think we're seeing the worst of this weather, and it is going to cross into Charles County here over the next 15-30 minutes.
That's great advice. And if you're on the second floor, get on the first floor. Just get to an interior room. Winds could still be 60 miles per hour. Even in the tornado warning, we don't get usually big tornadoes here. And sometimes the winds in a little tornado EF0, EF1 could be 80. Well, you could have an 80 mile per hour wind in the thunderstorm too. So let's take a look at the live picture again. And there, ooh, look at that. Getting a little darker. Of course, it's getting dark anyway, but that's down 301 looking south. Looks a little better now as it begins to move off to the east, but that's a pretty daunting picture. Good news, I don't see the trees going crazy yet. There's a little flock of birds going that way, probably not a good idea, and not much traffic. So that's pretty good. Still pretty ominous though. And no doubt, this is probably hail just north of Dahlgren. No doubt about that. And that's one reason that it gets that dark is the clouds extend a little further into the atmosphere, or if you have hail, it kind of blocks the sunlight. Of course, it's 8:09. We don't have a whole lot of sunlight left here. Severe thunderstorm warning again for Charles County. Tornado warning again, a little piece of King George County until about 8:15. So let me see if I can track this for you. And it's moving off. I think this is going to move more off to the east, okay, as opposed to the northeast. So that's what we're kind of thinking. We'll take it this. We'll kind of split the difference. So Huntingtown, 8:27. Prince Frederick, 8:32, and Port Republic at 8:38. And so this is just the severe thunderstorm. St. Leonard at about 8:41. So this, if you're in this area, you need to start making precautions now, taking precautions now, and securing loose objects. I put some loose object in before I left this morning early. So Hughesville 8:14, that's coming up here. Huntingtown 8:27, and Prince Frederick 8:32. Technically only Huntingtown, only Hughesville is under the severe thunderstorm warning right now. But Mechanicsville, boy, the way this thing turns and can turn off to the east, I would say that's worth watching and worth paying attention. Even though you're not under the warning yet, I think you need to sort of pay attention to that because, again, these storms, they will start to the northeast, okay? They'll start tracking like this, and then they'll do a little turn, and they'll turn off to the east or southeast. So that's why I'm kind of still concerned about Leonardtown and Mechanicsville, even though the storms are trying to miss you. They're trying to go north of you. That might not happen. Okay, let's go back. Let's reset here. So what is doing these storms? Well, earlier this morning, we had a little low-level jet and some good dynamics with the storms. These storms are produced by the actual cold front that's going to roll through tonight. And yes, set the stage for a very nice weekend. We just have to get through the next couple of hours, and we'll be in pretty good shape. So here is the severe thunderstorm warning out to the north and west up to Winchester. Solid line, although it is not as important and not as potent as it looked earlier. So that's some good news, but this is still a pretty intense line of showers and storms through Charles County and back into King George and across the river, across 95, almost to Charlottesville. And we still have this warning for most of Charles County until 8:30, and we still have this little small patch here. We'll kind of zoom in. It's been trimmed in terms of the warning in King George. That's good news, but the bad news is it's still in effect a little bit. Okay, now, yeah, Dahlgren, you're in pretty good shape.
They dropped it.
They did drop it. Excellent. This should disappear here shortly. We still have the severe thunderstorm warning for our friends in Charles County, and that will continue until about 8:30. So you folks up there also need to take cover, okay, because this is still a monster storm. I mean, Waldorf now, you're getting hit. And again, you folks off to the east, you know, Hughesville, Huntingtown, Prince Frederick, this is still a dangerous storm. You could have flooding with this storm, and you could also have winds up to 60 miles per hour. So the tornado warning has been dropped. That is good news. If one appears again in Charles County, you know we'll be back on the air quickly. But still, even though it's not a tornado warning, our friends in Waldorf and La Plata and down 301, treat it as such. Treat it as such. Get off the second story of their house, go to an interior room, and just wait for the storm to pass. It could still have winds of 60 miles per hour. The entire metro is under a severe thunderstorm watch until we get into, say, 10 o'clock tonight. That'll probably be trimmed before then. This is the outlier here. That is still a severe thunderstorm warning between Winchester, Martinsburg, Berryville. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for almost Charles County, but notice there's no boxes of red. The tornado warning has been dropped. That is good news. We'll be back as needed. For Caitlin McGrath, I'm meteorologist Topper Shutt.
This has been a WUSA 9 weather alert. Stay safe from the storm wherever you go. Download the WUSA 9 mobile app.
you need to also treat it as if it were a severe thunderstorm, because this is headed off to the north and east. So this is good news in some respects. It's going to miss Prince Frederick and Mechanicsville. Don't see a right turner here necessarily, but you still need to take cover with this storm. Tornado warning continues again until 9 o'clock. And if you're in the path of this storm, you need to move away from windows. We've said this all day, away from windows, and also down if you can. Probably don't have a basement in this area, but if you do, that's the place to be, no doubt about that. So where are the warnings right now? Again, a tornado warning in effect for Charles County, Calvert County, and also Prince Frederick County, and that will continue until they deem it not necessary, or until 9 o'clock. We'll see as it moves off to the north and to the east. So please take cover with this storm. This is a very serious storm, and we want you to take this seriously, like all the ones we've been talking about all day long, to take it seriously, because at the very least it's going to have winds of 60, 70 miles an hour. Now look off to the west too. So we still are tracking this second line of storms. The good news is I think it's weakened a little bit, but the second line, this is actually with the cold front itself as it rolls eastward. So this line, is affecting Hagerstown, just to the west of Leesburg now, back toward Warrenton, and we've already seen a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings prompted with that. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning down to the south, and also for our friends back in Spotsylvania County. You guys have been hit twice now in the last hour or so, but this is the newest one, and this is the tornado warning that covers, again, parts of 3 counties: Calvert County, Charles County, a good chunk of Charles County, and Prince George's County, a good chunk of southern Prince George's County, and into northwestern sections of Calvert County. So that means either radar indicated tornado, and winds could be anywhere from 70, 80 miles per hour with that storm. And also we're seeing some frequent lightning and rainfall rates. I mean, rainfall rates are anywhere from 1 inch to about 2 inches per hour. So I want to go ahead and track this a little bit, and let's bring this back, and we'll kind of track this, where this is going. And if you're in the path of this, okay, you need to take cover. And I mean take cover now before it goes across the bay. All right, so boom, back toward Mechanicsville. We'll bring it over we'll take it across the bay for our friends maybe still trying to get out of town. So Golden Beach, 838, Huntingtown, 840, Tillman at 902, and St. Michael's at about 910. And that is on our storm tracker. And there's no reason why it wouldn't hold together, even over the cold bay. It'll probably still be at least a severe storm as it crosses over toward Tillman in the next, say, 30 minutes, 35 minutes or so. So keep that in mind. But again, the warning continues until 9 o'clock for Calvert, a good portion of Charles County, a good portion of southern Prince George's County, and a little bit of Calvert County until 9 o'clock. We'll zoom in a little bit, get some closer towns for you. And if you know anybody in this area, go ahead and Facebook them, DM them, tell them, hey, this is serious stuff. So the storm itself is probably just to the west of 381. And so if you're over toward Bald Eagle or up to 262, and there's Huntingtown, I would be really careful in Huntingtown in the next 30 minutes or so. I think the storm itself is a little further back to the south and the west, and we'll kind of, take it back down to the south and west here. So Radar Scope, where do you think it if we had to pick it?
This is the tightest velocity couplet we have seen all day, and it's just to the south of Hughesville. That's where we're seeing a really tight rotation.
Right here? Yep. Okay. So you're in Hughesville around 5, and you're up near Aquasco, you need to take cover immediately, because it's going to more than likely go up to the north and the east. This is a warning, and it covers a good portion of Charles County, southern Prince George's County, and northwestern Calvert County. And we think that it could be really serious right around Route 5, around Hughesville. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit more here and see if we can get a little closer, because I'll go a little further to the north and the east too, in terms of trying to give you a little warning as to where it could be. Okay, we'll go right into there. So boom, there's the intersection of 5. So this is the tornado warning in effect. Let me just pull this out a little bit, and we'll move this way just a little bit here, and we'll let you know exactly. If you're anywhere in this area, hang on one second, Bendy. If you're anywhere in this area, you have to take cover. I mean, no doubt about it, because this is, as Caitlin was saying, a good indication with some of our tools that this is going to be pretty serious. There's Hughesville, there's 231. Anywhere near that intersection, you need to get out of your car and get to a building or get low to the ground. 301 and Route 5 in Maryland. Raining pretty good, traffic moving. See some lightning in the back, but don't see that. That's pretty much gone in terms of the severe weather for them. This is sort of more what we're concerned about, is a little north of that and a little east of that. So we'll zoom back out, and again, this is the storm right here. It's pulling out of. Now there's another one. Now we have another tornado warning in effect for portions of Calvert and Prince George's also until 9 o'clock. So this is getting a little bit on the serious side here. We have back-to-back. They're right next to each other, in fact. So it includes a little more of Calvert County, includes a little more, and now includes Prince Frederick. So this storm could make a little right turn as opposed to continuing off to the north and the east. So if you're anywhere in this area, please take cover away from windows, first floor, basement if you have one. I know a lot of you folks out here don't have basements, but basements, if you have one, please. That's going to be super important. We'll track it for you, and it's moving off to the east-northeast, we think, at about 40, 45 miles an hour.
Yeah, Top, I think they issued that new warning because the initial box was a little too narrow. The worst of the storm, where we're seeing that really tight rotation, is really where you see those boxes overlap. That's where we're seeing the tightest rotation and the area of biggest concern right now. That's heading towards Eagle Harbor, Aquasco.
Aquasco, yeah. Okay, let's
and
zoom
up into
Huntington. Huntington. So yeah, if you're in this area, there's Loves, there's Oaks, there's Hughesville. So up 381, that's in the line of the storm. Perhaps a tornado, certainly a severe thunderstorm, no doubt about that. Rainfall rates, 1 to 2 inches per hour, and all in all, a very serious storm. Okay, with this, it's very serious. So if you're off to the, up toward Eagle Harbor Road and Eagle Harbor, get ready. You should be in an interior room away from windows right now. Buena Vista, you also should be I know it's not raining right now, but it will, and you're under the warning, and this is that second warning that Caitlin was talking about. They kind of expanded it, if you will, to include these folks, in case it does make a little bit of a right turn. And sometimes they will do that, and that's why I think they've expanded this a little bit. As it comes this way, it might turn a little bit more to the south and the east. So tornado warning in effect until 9 o'clock. Both of these boxes have the same expiration, but both are equally serious, and we need to take them very seriously. But Eagle Harbor Road, I'm telling you, that is, please take cover if you are there. That's very, very serious. We'll zoom back out a little bit, and we'll look at, a little wider view. So it includes a good portion of Prince George's County as well, and now more of Calvert County, Prince Frederick to Huntingtown until 9 o'clock. Okay, now they've kind of condensed it. Caitlin, here's the new one. So now they kind of made just one warning out of it. Huntingtown, you're in it. Prince Frederick, you are also in it. Also Charles County, a little bit of Charles County, northeast Charles County until 9 o'clock. We'll go ahead and track this, and we'll let you know where it's headed. And anywhere, Huntingtown, west of Prince Frederick, you need to be ready for this. You really do. This is kind of a serious storm, and we can see flooding with this. Don't see any hail right now. It wouldn't be surprised me to see some hail with this storm, but I think we're looking at a pretty good storm over toward Prince Frederick and Huntingtown. And Brandywine, you're about in the clear. Waldorf, you're about in the clear too in terms of severe weather. It's this storm as it moves into Calvert County we're concerned about. Even Port Republic, you're technically not under the warning, but you need to take precautions and stay alert as it moves off to the east, northeast. We'll zoom back out, and we'll kind of reset, if you will. We still have this line off to the west, and we have another warning down to the south of 95 around Fredericksburg, and this is now entering some of our western suburbs. Loudoun County about to enter Fairfax County and also into northern sections of Fauquier County, Prince William County. But this is our main concern here. The tornado warning in effect for Charles County, Prince George's, and St. Mary's, and that goes until 9 o'clock. We'll zoom in here. This is a product we look at, velocity. We saw some pretty good indications of what we call coupling earlier. We don't see it as much. I do see some straight line winds with this. I think at the very least you're going to see winds Dunkirk to Huntingtown to Prince Frederick, probably in the order of 50 miles per hour, maybe a little higher than that. But this is the warning. Again, Calvert, Charles, Prince George's, and also St. Mary's County, a little sliver of St. Mary's County until 9 o'clock. So anywhere north central Calvert County, you got to be on your toes here, because this is pretty serious. We'll try to track it for you again. Caitlin, you got anything for us?
Yeah, just that this velocity couplet really is spiking up. We're looking at some of our other radar data too that could be indicating that there might be some debris getting lofted in the air. So this is just south of Eagle Harbor. Between Eagle Harbor and Benedict is where we very well may have a tornado on the ground. This is a really strong radar indicated tornado.
Okay, so that's a little troubling. So let's kind of zoom in here a little bit, and we'll kind of pinpoint what Caitlin just talked about. We'll zoom in a little bit more. So this is a tornado warning until 9 o'clock. So there's Aquasco, there's Loves, and there's Buena Vista. Anywhere in between here, there could be a tornado on the ground. Certainly some damaging winds. And even ahead of this storm, you can see a downburst of wind in Prince Frederick. Technically, you're not under the tornado warning, but you still are not out of danger. I mean, you still could have winds of 60 miles per hour with the severe thunderstorm itself. So let's, if you're in this area, you know someone in this area, just text them, call them, do the old-fashioned thing. Go ahead and call them, and say, hey, look, this is serious. We'll zoom back out. Another thing we've seen over the last half hour, they're moving very slowly and they're kind of training. I think Caitlin mentioned this earlier. We're kind of worried about some of these storms back building and making a flood problem. Don't see any flood warnings yet. They will pop up if they come into play. But right now, we don't see any flood warnings, but we could see some flood warnings with this storm, especially in parts of Charles County and also Calvert County as it moves off rather slowly in terms of tornadic activity to the east-northeast. We're going to, I'll just go ahead and take this off for just a second here, and we'll go ahead and look at the severe thunderstorm warnings back into Spotsylvania County. You guys have been hammered twice now, and that goes until 8:45 tonight. So now we do have the flood warning for Albemarle. We still have the same tornado warning, though, for our friends in Calvert, Charles, Prince George's, and also St. Mary's County. Let's go ahead and go back into this, and we'll zoom in, and we'll talk about the areas we're most concerned about, okay, in terms of damaging winds. And it is, essentially just to the southeast of Aquasco and around Hughesville, not quite to Golden Beach, but again, if you're anywhere in this area, man, you got to pay attention. Even Golden Beach is still possible that you could get strong winds and perhaps a tornado. Through 231, you want to be off of 231, no doubt. There's Huntingtown. You want to be off of 2 also. In Huntingtown, you should have taken precautions already. And certainly Aquasco, you're in the thick of the storm right now. Hughesville is beginning to improve a little bit. This is more likely the hail. And we'll go ahead and move a little further to the north. And I'm going to do this because you folks are not under the warning yet, but I want you to prepare. So North Beach, okay, prepare. You might see this warning extended. Probably at the very least, you're going to probably see a severe thunderstorm warning replace that. So North Beach, 261, again, northern Calvert County, please be advised that you might have a warning of some type, even though right now the warning is Huntingtown South, and that is in this area here. So this is serious. Caitlin said this is one of the worst what we call couplings we've seen, and that means indicating rotation. Radar going toward, or winds going toward a radar site and away from a radar site gives us the rotation right in this area. So take cover, if you will, and again, call someone, text someone if you know someone in this area. Not to forget our friends out to the west, because we still have this line of storms that's going to roll through with the frontal boundary itself. Although it has weakened a little bit. I think this has weakened a little bit, and I feel a little bit more comfortable that this is going to produce heavy rain, yes, and probably some winds, maybe 30 to 50. But I think once we get rid of these storms, I think our threat of tornadoes will be over, and I think our threat of severe weather will be greatly diminished. Not off the table yet, but certainly greatly diminished. Again, heavy rain, essentially Hagerstown down toward I-66. We'll go ahead and we'll zoom in here a little bit. Might as well show you some of these storms too. So this is some pretty heavy rain. There was a severe thunderstorm warning issued here earlier. Now it's not, but it's still pretty heavy. Brunswick to Leesburg. This is headed toward Tuscarora and Poolesville. So just be advised, you folks out there, heavy rain and maybe some winds, up to maybe 30, 40, 50 miles per hour. Certainly that's possible. But we'll focus on our friends in Calvert County and Charles County until 9 o'clock because this is the one that has prompted the severe thunderstorm warning. And we want folks to take cover and take this seriously. And again, even if you're not in the warning, you're still on the coast of Calvert County, that you need to take cover and secure loose objects. Hopefully you've done that already. But this is where the warning is. It's a pretty small warning. Tornado warnings often are. Calvert, Charles, Prince George's and St. Mary's County until 9 o'clock. And this is the area we're most concerned about, kind of in between Huntingtown and Prince Frederick. I'll try to zoom in a little more. We'll get a little more detail here. Where's the coupling now? Where do you see it?
It's just to the south of Huntingtown, and I was going to say I think they'll extend it into North Beach, including Chesapeake Beach, because they issued a marine statement over the bay. But looking at it, thankfully, it does look like it's losing a little bit of steam. Okay. Still at a minimum, likely producing wind damage, if not rotation. But yeah, it's heading towards Huntingtown next. Okay,
so we're most concerned about the Huntingtown area, and then points also outside this warning area, we're still concerned. Perrin, we're concerned about up to 261, 263. I would imagine if they don't extend the tornado warning, they would extend the severe thunderstorm warning or turn it into a severe thunderstorm warning. But so far, we've not seen that. But Hunting Mills, take cover. Huntingtown, please take cover. Get off of Route 2. Holland Cliff Shores, you're still seeing heavy rain, but we think the threat of the tornado is now east of you and southeast of you. So that is some good news for you. Not fantastic news, but some good news. Let me go ahead and kind of zoom back out just a little bit, okay? And I do want to talk about our friends up to the south, up to the north and east. So North Beach, you're pretty far away, but you still could see severe weather. Take precautions now. Don't wait for the warning to be issued for your area. Kind of stay ahead of it. But this is where the warning is right now until 9 o'clock. A tornado warning in effect. I would suspect a severe thunderstorm warning will be popped to the north. If it falls apart, if it doesn't, they're going to extend this warning up into Calvert County around North Beach. Right now it's not, but just be advised it certainly could be. So our friends, Huntingtown, that is where we're most concerned about right there. Don't want to be on 4, don't want to be on 2, trying to outrun it into Prince Frederick. And I think we're going to see some reports of hail and damage out toward Aquasco and points west. Hughesville, rain's tapering off a little bit, but it's still, moderate. But I think your threat of severe weather is over. The real threat, again, essentially from Huntingtown, just south Huntingtown, then northward. And I think the threat is even outside of this box. I know this is where the cutoff is, but I think there's still some possibility of damaging winds, if not a little EF1 or EF0 tornado between 263 and Route 4. And so our friends, again, up to the north, North Beach, get ready, prepare for the storm. Very least, I think you're going to see some pretty strong winds and some heavy rain, maybe some hail too. If you have a car, pull it in the garage, pull it in the carport, if you happen to have some drop cloths, put drop cloths on top of it if you can't put it under cover. We saw what happened to that guy's house and car that last week ago Monday with that hailstorm. So this is a good time to do that. If you're in Huntingtown, don't do that nonsense. You need to be interior room, away from windows, stairwell, or an interior bathroom. You don't want to be messing around with that. North Beach, you have a little bit of time, although, not a ton of time. Let me go back out here, and we'll talk about where the frontal boundary is itself, and that's what's producing this line. I mean, that severe weather we had earlier was more a upper level dynamic situation than surface, and it was no heating. But now we have the front itself is back to the east and pushing back to the west, pushing east. What did that what would that indicate? That's
a new severe thunderstorm warning until 9:30.
Good. Okay, so that's what they did. They replaced it with that. I mean, that's a good news. I think that's better than extending the tornado warning. But as we said earlier, that's still a big storm and still a severe storm. So once it pulls through Huntingtown up toward North Beach, you're still going to see winds, Dunkirk and around 261, northern Calvert County, 50, 60 mile per hour winds. I think that's a good idea in Anne Arundel County too, as well as Prince George's County. And that goes until 9:30. So the tornado warning will go till 9 o'clock unless they canceled earlier, and they've kind of replaced that with a severe thunderstorm warning. Anytime you see a tornado warning not extended, that's good. that means the storm is weakening. And Caitlin just said that. It was weakening. We don't see that coupling, that strong rotation we saw about half an hour ago. So that is good news for our friends in northern Calvert County. But still, take it seriously. Don't think, oh, it's just a severe thunderstorm warning. It doesn't really matter. Well, actually, these are pretty bad storms, too. Our friends in Shadyside, light rain just starting. That's going to get heavier. Take shelter as well. But certainly Dunkirk, Huntingtown to Prince Frederick. Hopefully you're hearing my voice from an interior room, a hallway, or a basement. Although most of you don't have basements in that particular area. We can try to track this for you across the bay. And I think it will hold together, fairly well. They seem to hold together even though the bay is, running so cold right now. We'll track it across over to St. Michael's, maybe a little further south. So going to Tillman at about 9:07. St. Michael's at about 9:15, and maybe to Oxford at about 9:20 as it moves across into the Delmarva. And I will say this, Futurecast has kept these storms intense once they pass the metro area. So keep that in mind if you're across the bay into the Delmarva. So the tornado warning for Calvert County, Charles County, and Prince George's and St. Mary's, they've taken it down. It's not expired. They can't actually canceled it because it's not 9 o'clock yet. That's good news. So let's reset here for a second. Let's go back to the big picture. And this is the severe thunderstorm warning now for much of Anne Arundel, Calvert, and Prince George's County until 9:30. This will disappear on the screen shortly. This is the line of showers and storms prompted by the cold front that will sweep across the metro area the next couple of hours. And we've said this since yesterday. This is good news. Once we get this nonsense through us, it's going to usher in drier air, cooler air, and sunshine for the holiday weekend. So that is indeed good news. I know it's been canceled. I'm looking at it, but I'm going to wait for this to disappear on a map, Caitlin. But right now, the severe thunderstorm warning covers a good chunk of that same area and a little bit north of that area. So we do want to say, hey, take cover here too as well. Even though it's just a severe thunderstorm warning, we saw the damage in Olney. And it could have been tornadic, but we saw a lot of damage in other parts. Franklin Park in Fairfax County probably was just straight line winds, but took down a ton of trees. So severe thunderstorms can be dangerous. So again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning for Anne Arundel County, Calvert County, Prince George's County until 9:30. And we're waiting for this to disappear. But right now they say they have expired it for Calvert and Charles and Prince George's County and St. Mary's County. This may stay on until 9 o'clock. So I think we're 100% sure the warning has been taken down. That's good news. I'll zoom out one last time here, and we'll let you get back to programming. And so you will still see this line of storms move through here in the next hour or two. And some of these could pop up to be severe, and we'll keep you posted on that. Of course, we're streaming always. If something's going on, go to our website. We're always live. And again, this storm will produce more rain. Rainfall rates 1 to 2 inches per hour, perhaps some flooding, although no flooding warnings have popped up just yet. And you can follow this. We asked you yesterday, download our app and you can follow these storms right along with us. I want to thank all the weather watchers today throughout the day. We put on an alert last night. I mean, you guys came through. You took pictures in a safe manner when it was safe. You took a lot of pictures and videos for us, and you were our eyes. I appreciate that. So again, tornado warning has been lifted for our friends in Charles, Prince George's, and St. Mary's County. We'll be back if conditions warrant. And of course, you can follow us on our web at WUSA9.com. For meteorologist Caitlin McGrath, I'm meteorologist Tom Burchett.
This has been a WUSA 9 weather alert. Stay safe from the storm wherever you go. Download the WUSA 9 mobile app.
You talked about, oh, hi there. Will you punch me back up at the key for a second? Okay. I think we had these pin instead of floating. I don't know. Let me see. So, right, but if I go in, if I go into here, okay, right? Oh, it's still pinned.
Still there. Yeah, I think they're pinned. So I don't know if there's a way to make them go bottom instead of top.
No, because you're going to.
But then you would cover there.
Well, we can't do bottom because sometimes you guys have stuff on the bottom. I can't do the bottom.
I don't know what to do.
I mean, well, we could move this.
Could you move that lower?
We could. Caitlin probably doesn't want to do that, but I like having these on automatically instead of querying them.
The other thing too
It's
is
just
when
quicker.
It stayed on when you did your tornado.
Well, I mean, although that's wait a minute. I mean, I can't. We can also do. I can also do this and get rid of it occasionally. Maybe I should do that more.
But then you have to toggle it on every time you want to select a tool.
Yes. Thank you, Pinna Gallery. Yes, that is correct. But I like these on instead of trying to what?
Oh.
I like them on instead of trying to toggle them on.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
Let's then maybe we toggle on that on and off then.
yeah. I mean, I don't think it's that big a deal. I mean, I can once let's say I get okay, I do that, and then I get what I want, and I zoom in, okay, and then I can go and just toggle it off.
Yep.
Well, supposedly, if I'm tall enough to toggle it off, there we go. Okay, so there. Well, no, it's fine. I can reach the top of the screen. So yeah. By the way, who do I thank for bringing this wall back, Tom? You bring the wall back for us? Yeah, you're a good man. Thank you.
We did it after the 7. Yeah, I think you got to be more conscious about leaving it up and on because it does cover a good portion of the screen.
Okay. I mean, I can do the McGrath way, but I don't like it because I think she was struggling a little bit trying to query it. McGrath, you hear me?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I didn't think I was struggling.
You struggle a little bit. Because this is not perfect. I mean, sometimes I was able to track well, and sometimes it just didn't track very well. Everything else worked okay with it, but
The track was a little wonky, but the zooming in was good.
zooming in was good. The track worked really good at first.
The radar is not bad.
Like if I zoom in here, I mean, let's say I zoom in and I go into like this big area here, and then I go, okay, let's track these mother hunchies, okay. Okay, boom, pow. And then let's say this should work. I think what happens is, Caitlin and I were talking about this, that
He's not on TV.
it's going to get the furthest point away from my body. And so if I bend in like this, my head's there. So I think I have to do more like that.
You got to lean back.
Right.
Lean back, hand forward.
Well, not leaning back like I'm an idiot, but I mean, like this. I guess it's not the most natural thing. You'd rather lean into it, but sometimes I think that was the problem, was hitting my head.
So right now, Carrie's on speaker. We have Raphael and Matt headed to Eagles Harbor down in Calvert.
Okay.
Is there still?
Good idea to go there?
I mean, it's going to be dark and there's not many people there. And I don't know.
Reports of damage down there?
Not that I've seen. So far.
Yeah, I don't know that I would do that either.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay. Do we want?
Thank you. I'll go off my mic here. Thank you.